This is just one more test for our live stream. Sorry about this. Testing.
Good.
Testing.
Yeah.
For any of our guests that missed the previous announcement or showed up afterwards, graduates will be entering and going on to the stage next to the podium and leaving the stage on the opposite side. One more time, graduates will be going on to the stage next to the podium and leaving the stage on the opposite side. Thank you.
graduates. I'm going to ask our crowd as well as you to join me in what we do every morning at Haven High School, which is join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Please be seated. First of all, I would like to take a moment and thank a few people. Mr. Clark Weedle, our superintendent. Please give him a hand. In such a tough time, with the adversity that we face, Mr. Weedle has been a heck of a leader, and I appreciate his effort and his leadership helping us get through. His efforts have helped us get here today, and I'm truly thankful for what he's doing for our seniors through that. I'd like to thank our Board of Education members. If you are present, please stand, including up on stage, Mr. Bryce Mattson. It is through their policy and grace that we're able to offer a quality education for our students, including the seniors here before you that are graduating today. Mr. Kirkpatrick, my assistant principal, you are what made this happen today. The logistics, putting in that time, taking time out of your summer, not for yourself but for others. That's the kind of man that works for you as an assistant principal. To our faculty members, those of you, please stand. Please join me in a hand for them. One of the hardest things for any worker in any industry is to switch gears, is to get into an uncomfortable zone. We had to make transitions. We had to make moves that were not common, that were not normal. And I thank you for your efforts this spring to finish this year strong. Parents of our graduates, please stand. It is through your love and support that our students are standing or sitting here today. From that kindergartner, that first day of school, to the senior that sits before you ready to walk across the stage for a diploma. Your love and support was the main foundation for that to occur, along with their hard work and integrity. Thank you. Seniors, this is a different year. I can tell you from my end of it, as a staff, I pressed my staff to make the best we can for our students, and that's cognitively and non-cognitively. What we're offering you X's and O's, as well as what we're offering you getting ready for life. We talked about the problem solving, the communication, the leadership, all those things. And those are things that we can teach you small pieces of along the way. But there's something bigger than that. One of those traits that we had this year that we don't teach in a classroom. Something that manifests from you. Something that comes from your heart, your mind. And we call that grit. Grit, what is it? It's tenacity. It's endurance. It's getting knocked down and getting back up. It's having something thrown at you that's not normal, taking it on, and beating it. We can't teach you grit. Grit is not an action, but it is a reaction. It is how you dedicate yourself, how you push yourself, and how you finish tasks. It will be the greatest training that we've tried to instill in our students in a non-cognitive realm, one that will stay with you through your life. Whether it's health scares, whether it's family issues, whether it's keeping that job that we're frustrated with. Grit will lead the way. Class of 2020, you stand out with your grit. You stand out with your tenacity, and you stand out with your drive. I, as a building principal, supposed to be the leader, have taken a lesson from you. What grit looks like. And I thank you for that. Lifelong learners are what we try and produce out of our students, and you have made me that, a lifetime learner, watching you and your dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, please give these kids a hand for their efforts and grit. Well, I'm not going to give any cat jokes today. I was planning on it, but some of the seniors said no, so we'll leave that out. I usually do start today with a cat joke, though, and they're not only as bad as the people that as the suggestions. I don't make them up. You guys did, so they're not mine, right? No, I'm kidding. Thank you, though, for having that humor and that love, just like we do with that all day. Every day at Haven High School, you set a tone with the kids in our school just to make it a fun place, make it an enjoyable place. So thank you for that. At this time, I'd like to introduce our valedictorians. They'll be coming up to speak. Go ahead and come on up there, valedictorians. May I introduce Essie Juarez, Caleb Miller, Abigail Nisley, Natalie Unruh, Sarah Utsi, and Faith Paramore. All right, speeches are underneath.
Well, I got mine.
Just do that and then we'll get it.
Well, here we are. This is loud. We have reached what we once saw as unreachable. We have conquered the first peak in our climb to success. There are those of us who felt the days went by too slowly, and others who wish it had not gone by quite so fast. Regardless, I think we can all agree this day has been a long time coming. These past 4 years have been eventful, to say the least. There were times of great joy and success, but also of great trial and sadness. Throughout our time here, we have tested in more ways than one. Not just our intelligence, but also in our compassion, integrity, leadership, teamwork, communication, and grit. As a class, I believe we have passed each with flying colors and have earned our chance to be here today. However, I'm sure you would all rather listen to some stories rather than my verbose praise, and I'm sure Faith and Natalie will deliver.
Yeah. Maybe. Like Caleb said, we did it. Even though it's the middle of July and we're all sweating profusely under these big, hefty bags, we're finally graduating. Speaking on behalf of the class of 2020, it's safe to say that our time at Haven High has been full of crazy highs and some very depressing lows. all the way from attending coaches' funerals to watching our favorite teams play at state tournaments. We've been through it all. But Faith and I would like to highlight some of the funny and most memorable moments from our time together at Haven High. Starting with the buses. I mean, how many times can a bus break down? Apparently, it can during our band trip in Denver and on the way to Pratt and to just about every cross-country meet. Some more highlights from the last 3.5 years are winning the Student Section Award at the RUP, watching our teams win tournaments and sub-state championships, scoring perfect scores at contests, and completely rearranging KP's office. Or when we were playing volleyball during lunch in PLT, when we knew some kids did quite meet the grade requirements, and also waking up at 4 in the morning for band or contests. And one of the not so fun memories of Haven High School is when Coach Tallman stole our food during lunch, like every day.
This is horrible. Okay. Is there another paper?
No.
Do you have that one I gave you?
Right there with all this. It's in there.
It's okay. Okay. Okay, sorry for that. And the most recent memory of all, Senior Ditch Day. Many of us skipped what would have been our very last day of high school to spend the day in Wichita with our class. I can't speak for everyone, but I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that even though a few teachers were very mad about it, we wouldn't have done it any other way. And I don't think anyone will soon forget the fear and effort into trying to hide our food from Miss Volk in the library so we wouldn't get yelled at again. Or when the whole school was cheering Clay on while getting a record time scootering around the track. And I think I can still hear Mr. Cooprider say, "Get out and compete at every track meet," and hear the anger in LJ's voice when the track team was cheering on her daughter while playing hot cross buns on her recorder during practice. Also, I'm pretty sure I can still hear Eli Myers squealing like a little kid when Coach Paramore would give him the infamous massager. Oh my God. From the Hive student sections, thanks to Caleb, Eli, and Levi, to complaining about hearing Mr. Moore's cat jokes every morning, our time at Haven High has been one we will never forget. And a special request from some anonymous students to Miss Matthew. They are sorry for making you think that you made a big hole in your classroom, even though it was actually them, and they will, like I said, remain anonymous. But Wyatt, Eli, and Levi really are sorry, and they still love you. Thank you, and in the wise words of Troy Bolton, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat.
Sorry, I'm short. Okay. As Natalie said, I think it's fair to say our class has been through a lot. Before our senior year even started, we dealt with tragedy, loss, huge changes, and just general struggles in our school and home lives. Then, when it did start, we had our ups and downs, fought some battles, and learned some lessons along the way. We've seen each other strive to reach goals that seemed impossible. When they were achieved, we celebrated together. When they were not, we cried together. Okay, I'm just gonna lose the cat. We learned how to approach hard decisions and stand by them, even if they didn't work out the way we planned. If they didn't, we owned up to our mistakes and tried to improve. We learned that we're not in control of what others say and do, but we are in control of our response. We learned that there will be those who doubt us, but the ones who stand by you when the going gets tough are the ones who are your real supporters. We've seen what good and bad leadership looks like and the influence it makes. As Dwight D. Eisenhower said, you don't lead people by hitting them over the head. That's assault, not leadership. We've learned the power of numbers and what one group of people can do. We know that we don't have all the answers, but no one else does either. We have to learn for ourselves through experiences. We know that these skills will get us through life because we had to learn them quickly at a fairly young age. And we know that if we can come through this pandemic as strong as we are now, we can do anything. When this pandemic changed everything, we learned how to overcome overwhelming obstacles together and be confident in our choices. Brian Tracy said, "The true test of leadership is how well you function in a crisis." I think we've shown how we handled a crisis since we're still sitting here today with huge wins, although in different circumstances than we thought. No matter what happens, we won't let people stop us from trying to make this world a better place than it is right now. As Alexander Hamilton once said, "With my last idea, I shall cherish the sweet hope of meeting you in a better world."
My hat. Fellow graduates, the day has come for us to finally walk across the stage and close this chapter of our lives. While I know that we haven't had the traditional kind of senior year, I think that the unconventional has brought many life lessons our way. Our class has learned perseverance, dedication, and leadership throughout the past 4 years. We pushed through despite the difficulties and overcame all of the obstacles put before us. All of the changes have made us stronger. They have prepared us for the next steps of our lives. On behalf of my class, I would like to thank the faculty of Haven High for supporting us through all of our high school careers. Thank you for being our biggest fans and supporters through all of the difficulties. When we were excited, you celebrated with us. When we were upset or disappointed, you were right there beside us, making sure we didn't have to go through the hard times alone. Thank you for giving us the tools that will aid us later on in life. Not just the scholastic skills and knowledge that you have provided us, but the life skills that are invaluable. Kindness, patience, integrity, and determination.
Change has been constant throughout our time in high school, both in school and in our personal lives. Some of it's been tough, and we all know that. But we got through all the changes and challenges together. It was the relationships that we built along the way that helped us through. We've made lifelong friendships and memories that we will never forget and never regret. From ranting about assignments and tough practices to never doing any work in class and sneaking off to get a drink from the den instead, our friends became our rocks. After all, we've spent a lot of time with them over these past 4 years. Together, we've experienced the lowest of the lows, along with the highest of the highs, all while leaning on each other. But not only did friendships with our peers get us through, but also our relationships with our parents. They listened to us complain about assignments and teachers endlessly, all the while offering some of the best advice that we will ever receive. They pushed us farther than we ever thought we could go and supported us always. So thank you, parents, for never giving up on us, for always believing in us, and for getting us where we are today, graduation day.
Here on the Haven High School Let's restart. Here on the Haven High School football field comes the end of our high school journey. However, even as this door closes, another will open. Graduates, I invite you as you move on in your lives to cherish your memories and your friends that you've made throughout your time at Haven High and take them along with you on your next journey. As C.S. Lewis said, there are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. So look to the future, class of 2020, for it waits only for you to create it.
Thank you. Valedictorians, your address is definitely a representation of your class, and we appreciate you doing so. At this time, we have our honors recognition, and I'm inviting Abigail Nisley, the 2020 class president, to call the names. Abby?
Shorter than him. All right. I'm going to call the names of the members of National Honor Society. So when I call your name, please remain standing until all the names have been called. Morgan Marie Carmichael. Essie Veronica Juarez. Caleb James Miller. Myself, Faith Elizabeth Paramore, Samantha Elizabeth Shadowan, and Sarah Elizabeth Utsi. I will now call the names of honor graduates of the class of 2020. And if you don't know what an honor graduate is, it is students who have compiled a 4-year average of 3.5 or above on a 4.0 scale. When I call your name, please remain standing until all the names have been called. Morgan Marie Carmichael. Wyatt Ray Carmichael. Kelton James DeBoard. Emily Elizabeth Earls. Jacob Morgan England. Hannah Lee Forker. Emma Colleen Foster. Sierra Catherine Green. Kylie Rose Heffling. Corbin Jacob Hunninghake. Essie Veronica Juarez. Kaylee Ann Kincaid. Riley McKenna LaCoy. Caleb James Miller. Hannah Louise Newcomer. Myself, again, Faith Elizabeth Paramore. Garrett James Reese. Clay Adam Schmucker. Samantha Elizabeth Shadowan. Jordan Sophia Stevie. Brandon Tyler Strayer. Natalie Ann Unruh. Garrett Allen Westby. Daniel Eugene Fred Utsi. And Sarah Elizabeth Utsi.
Thank you, and congratulations on your efforts and your work. And thank you, Abigail, for coming up today and representing your class. At this time, presentation of the class will be conducted by Mr. Clark Weedle. I'd like to invite him to the mic at this time.
Class of 2020. Let me be the first to congratulate you on your achievements and your graduation today. You have been excellent representatives of our district and communities. We know that although you have many successes in high school, that you will also have some outstanding accomplishments ahead of you. Thank you for all you have meant to Haven High School and our district. We wish you the best in whatever path you have chosen for yourself in the future. At this time, it is my privilege to verify that this group of seniors have met all the requirements set forth by the state of Kansas, the Kansas Department of Education, and Unified School District 312 Board of Education. Congratulations, seniors.
Well, I think I can use the expression, hold on to your hats. We're not quite there. But yeah, that's as bad as the cat jokes are right there. Yeah, they're pretty bad. All right. At this time, Abigail is going to come back up with our class president address. So Abigail, come on up.
I'll keep this short. I know we've been waiting for a while, so we'll get it over with. I would like to congratulate us all on finishing this year. It's been a really long journey, but we finally done it, guys. Congratulations. I would like to announce Dylan Yoder. He's going to read the names today. Sorry, I'll move.
Dylan Yoder is our junior class president from this last year, and he will serve as our reader today for the names. Dylan?
Without further ado, I present the class of 2020. Caleb James Miller. Natalie Ann Unruh. Faith Elizabeth Paramore. Abigail Janae Nisley. Esperanza Veronica Torres. Whoa. Sarah Elizabeth Utsi. Morgan Marie Carmichael. Wyatt Sexy Carmichael. Gabriel Ray Cheers. Jordan Nicole Claudefelter. Evan Connor Cosman. Kelton James DeBoard. Emily Elizabeth Earls. Jacob Danger England. Duncan Owen Ford. Hannah Lee Forker. Emma Colleen Foster. Dakota J. Fox. Oh yeah. Sierra Catherine Green. What? Okay. Sorry. Emma Faye Gunn. Kylie Rose Heffling. Brandon Michael Hermosillo. No. Levi William Hingley. Corbin Jacob Hunninghake. Jesse Lee Johnson. Kaylee Ann Kincaid. Eli Jeremiah Kraft. Riley McKenna McCoy. Kara Ann Madison. Willie Bernard McNair. Elijah Kane Myers. Get a high five. No. Get out of here. Hannah Louise Newcomer. Mario Angel Quintero. Garrett James Reese. Randon J. Richmond. Clay Adam Schmucker. Samantha Elizabeth Shadowan. Brittany Lee Sidebottom. Dusty Dwayne Smith. Jordan Sophia Steebley. Brandon Tyler Strayer. Noah Andrew Soley. Alex William Weishauer. Garrett Allen Westby. Haley McKenna Williams. Wyatt Raymond Winter. Daniel Yutzi Toll. And Blaine Zonker.
All right. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Mr. Weedle and Mr. Mattson, for presentation of our diplomas today. Class of 2020, you're there. You've made it. You've been successful in your path, but it is only halfway. You have more to do. You have more places to go, more places to experience, more places to be part of. But one thing, don't forget Haven High. Don't forget being a Wildcat. Always come back. Graduates, at this time, I invite you to stand. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present Haven High School Class of 2020. This ceremony is officially over. Families, you are welcome to be on the field after the event here. It is fine.
Other than that.